Alright, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the F87 M2 build. This is going to be a good one. We got something very special planned to replace those factory 19-inch wheels. I have been looking around for a set of wheels that I like and that I think would work well for this car, both kind of street and track. And I picked up some wheels last week that I'm super pumped about. Not a lot of people run them. Haven't seen a lot of people running them on this platform, and they are not Apex, which I love, but everyone seems to run. So let me unbox these wheels, and I'll talk a little bit about my wheel choice, and then we'll get these thrown on the car. Alright, so you guys saw the unboxing of the wheels here. These are the Bimmerworld TA5R wheels. These are fairly new. I think Bimmerworld came out with them back in 2022, maybe 2021. Regardless, they've only been out for a couple years. Bimmerworld, very well-known brand in the world of BMWs. You know, big race team. They make really quality parts. I've had some of their parts in my E46 M3. Really like their stuff. I think this was their first venture into manufacturing wheels, and they look promising. You know, I was able to pick these up on somewhat of a sale that they were having, and pricing wise they're honestly better than equivalent Apex wheels. The really big benefit I can see is they're actually lighter as well. So these are flow formed wheels. They should be nice and strong. Great setup for the track. Should be fine for any type of street driving. I went with 18 by 9.5 in the front and 18 by 10.5 in the rear. Really wanted to do a square setup on these wheels, but after doing a whole lot of research and won't really get into the boring details, decided to go with a staggered setup. So the 10.5s in the back, 9.5s in the front. I am sizing down to 18s. Everyone always wonders why I do that. I think 18-inch wheels are just much more functional than 19-inch wheels, especially for a car that you're going to do some aggressive driving and track work with. 18s just make a lot more sense. So I'll leave it at that. So taking a look at these wheels in detail, this is a 10.5. This is the bigger of the two sizes. They have a nice concave design you can see there. I opted for the silver finish. I think it's going to pop really nice. And overall, these look really nice. So I talked a little bit about the weight. I was between these and Apex EC7s, which I love. They're beautiful wheels. I think they were back ordered, which was a little bit of an issue. I didn't feel like waiting. And the second thing that really sold me on these is I looked up the weights, and these were, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I know the fronts were under 20 pounds. I think it was 19 point something, like 19.5 pounds. And I think the rears are only slightly over 20 pounds, maybe 21 pounds, something like that. And they were both the front and the rears were a pound lighter than the equivalent Apex wheels. So assuming these things hold up and they don't break, which, you know, that would be very bad. They should be great. You know, they're very lightweight. Apex basically has the market cornered for lightweight BMW track wheels, and I really think Bimmerworld came out with a pretty awesome product, and assuming they hold up well, they'll start to give Apex a run for their money in some places. That's it for the wheels. Getting these things mounted up tomorrow. Let me show you guys the tires. Alright, so for tires, we went with Sumitomo HTR Z5s. These are a fairly new tire. I don't know a lot about the Sumitomo brand, but they're pretty well known, and these are replacing what was used to be an HTR Z3, which had really good reviews. So I went back and forth on tire sizes. I had some Yokohamas picked out that I really wanted to run, but when you get down to 18s, it's very difficult on a staggered setup to find tires that fit a 10.5-inch wheel. So that was kind of my limiting factor. I found a few different tires I really wanted to run. Basically, the biggest size they went up to was like a 265, which is great for a 9.5-inch wheel, but not for a 10.5-inch wheel. So all that being said, found these in the sizes that should work really well. Found them on sale at Simple Tire. Not sponsored or anything, but shouting out Simple Tire. I'd buy almost all my tires from them. They have great prices. I highly recommend Simple Tire if you guys have not used them before. So these are going to be for the rear. These two here, these are 285 35 18s. And then the fronts right here, these are 265 35 18s. So this is going to be I'm hoping, and it should be, this is going to be a very meaty setup, which will help with a lot of things, but from a handling standpoint, the car should handle very well, and should also help a little bit with the ride too. So that's it for the tires. 265s in the front, 285s in the rear, Sumitomo HTR Z5s. I get these things mounted up tomorrow. I will show you guys what they look like once the wheels and the tires are mated together, and I will slap them on the car. Alright, before throwing the wheels on the M2 here, we are going to do two things. One of them is going to be to put these 82mm wheel studs on. For anyone who doesn't know BMWs use wheel bolts, not studs, much like a lot of German cars. It's a pain in the butt, harder to run spacers, harder to get the wheels lined up and put on there. Studs are just much better all around, especially if you're doing anything with track related, which I don't know if I'll do with this car yet, but regardless, we're going to do these so we can put them on and not have to worry about it. So again, these are 82mm. I also have a full set of bolts, and studs are pretty easy to install, but I'll go through the process quickly for anyone that wants to do these, because there's a couple things that you need to make sure you do when you're installing these. We are also going to be putting a coating of wax on the wheels. So Shine Armor sent me this spray wax quick coat. So this is a Carnauba wax, which is a pretty traditional wax that you would put on your car. I've done wheel coatings in the past. Some are kind of specific to wheels, some aren't, because wheels do get pretty hot. But we're going to try this out on the wheels. I think this will work pretty well. I've read really good reviews, and I've been wanting to try it out. So we're going to give this a shot. They've also included a couple rags with my package. So basically you just wet one of these rags, spray some of the wax on, coat the wheel, and then I'll use the other rag to wipe the wheel off. So hopefully this will help keep brake dust off the wheels and make them just a little bit easier to clean. I think we'll start with doing the wax on the wheels, then we'll move to the studs, and then we will throw the wheels on and see how they look. I got all four wheels coated up with the Shine Armor Spray Wax Quick Coat. Went on super easy, wiped off super easy. It's about 100 degrees right now in Tennessee, and no issues with it baking on there or anything. So overall, wheels are shined up and look very nice. I'm excited to get these things on. Definitely recommend this stuff. I'm excited to actually try it on the paint of the car. If you guys are interested, check out Shine Armor, shinearmor.com. They have a full range of detailed products for your car, and I will definitely be picking up some additional products to try out as well. So thank you, Shine Armor, for sending this out. So let's get these wheel studs put on the car now, and then we will slap the wheels on. Alright, wheel studs, pretty easy thing to install for the most part. Screw it in there, put some Loctite on it, torque it down. That's really the high level process. ECS calls for blue Loctite. I am using red. I've done this in the past. I've always used red. Red typically holds up the heat better. I am using Loctite 263, which has a pretty high temperature rating. So the process here is really to take your stud. I am literally just going to put about a drop of Loctite on it, just like so that it'll spread kind of throughout the threads. And then I'm going to thread it in. Now the fronts, you'll have a little bit of a challenge because the rotor will want to spin, the backs, the car's in gear, the e-brake's going to be on, so I'm taking a screwdriver, I'm going to put it into the brake rotor so you can see there, the rotor will not budge. And now we are going to torque this down to 11 foot-pounds, which is 132 inch-pounds. There it is. And that is it. A little bit of red Loctite, torque it down, and you're done. So we'll basically do this all the way around and then do that for all four wheels, and then we will put the new wheels on. So I'll throw it on a time lapse and we'll get this done. Alright, wheels are on. Pretty simple process overall, although I had some major issues taking the rears off and managed to do this to a pretty decent 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. I hate when shops torque the shit out of wheels and you can't get them off. Anyway, I have one small detail I'm going to do, and then we will take this thing for a drive and get some shots of these new wheels. The new wheels are on, and I think they look great on the way to film this little montage segment. I could definitely feel that turn-in was better with the 265s up front. Car more or less felt the same in terms of acceleration, things of that nature. Tires felt good and sticky. The ride quality for sure was improved going to the 18s. Just that little bit of additional sidewall compared to the 19s makes a pretty big difference. Overall, in terms of the looks, it definitely looks less aggressive, I think, than the 437s, but I kind of like it. It's definitely a functional look, and once I get a little bit bigger of a spacer up front and lower this thing about 1 inch, I think it's going to look really good. But would love to know what you guys think. Throw it in the comments if you like these, or if you like the TA5Rs or the 437s more. One thing I didn't do was weigh these wheels, so at some point I may do that. I think they're pretty comparable in terms of weight, but the 18s may actually have been a little bit heavier just due to the bigger side tires, both out back and up front. But overall, very happy with the setup. Again, let me know what you guys think. I also want to give a quick thanks to Shine Armor for helping out with this video. Check out the link below or use code FOC20 on shinearmor.com for a 20% discount off Shine Armor products. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.